YouTube, the day has come, finally. Dark World deck profile, right here. Um, I like Dark Worlds a lot. I think I was saying they were good, like really good, before they even won that YCS. Now everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. But I've been building this deck for a while. I've just been waiting, as you guys know, like a month, 2 months or so for all the cards in the mail. But the deck is now finally finished, and I'm going to be showing you guys my build, and I'll be looking for your opinion on it, and you guys can let me know what you think. Dark Worlds are pretty standard. There's really not, like, there is variety in the builds you can play. I tried out a Ceruli build once, and that was really fun, actually. I really like Ceruli. I may actually go back to that eventually one time. But it's a very control-oriented deck, and it likes to just kind of go off really fast, so that's one of the reasons I really like the deck. So without further ado, I'm just going to get right down to it and start off with the monsters. So obviously, you got 3 Grapha. He's your boss monster. One of the best cards in the game, in my opinion, right now, and I think it's very underrated. Discard it, you pop a card, and then you can just bounce any Dark World to special summon them. Really, really good. Then you have your 3 Snoww, your searcher for the deck, and it's really funny how many times I'm doing that work. You'll discard this thing with Dark World dealings, and your opponent will be like, "Oh, you're not allowed to search out. It only says when I discard it." And it's like, well, dude, read the card. It's got problem solving text now. All the Dark World cards have it. It's easy to figure out. Now they do have kind of confusing text, but at the same time, it's pretty simple as long as you look for the semicolons. Awesome cards. Just adds a ton of speed and consistency to the deck. I can actually, a lot of people are saying Gates is going to get hit next format. I actually think Snoww is going to get hit. They usually hit the Searcher. Perfect example is Stratos and Earth. Moving on, you got 3 Broww, obviously. That's a staple in the deck as well. You got to run 3. Use your extra draw power. Lots of speed. Those are your main staples in the deck. You always have to run these 9 Dark Worlds. I would never not run these 9. I just think it would be too slow. You gotta add that power and that speed. Next up is I run 2 Sillva. I really like Sillva at 2. I might drop him down to 1 and run 2 Broww, or Beiige, sorry, but I do really, really, really like 2 Sillva. He's just an extra beater on the field. He's 2600. He's level 5, and I do run a couple rank 5 XYZs in my extra deck. So he's nice if you can get 2 out. You get XYZ for Zen Mayo, or Adrius, or Tiras. So he's really awesome, and the fact that he goes up to 2600 with the field spell up in the field means he can get over a lot of those 2500 nasties, such as Shien, and of course Stardust Dragon, the infamous Stardust Dragon, which can hurt your Grapha plays. I run 1 Beiige just for consistency's sake. You can normal summon it, bounce it, and special summon Grapha, and it's just nice because it's level 4. So it's normal summonable, which is good. Next up, I run 2 Trance Archfiend. I obviously don't have Tour Guides in this deck. I think Tour Guide is good in this deck. I don't think it's completely necessary. I think it's really good, but I don't think it's necessary. This card is awesome. So good, Trance Archfiend. You get tons of pluses with it. It's just a floater. 2,000 beats if you discard. 2,300 with the field spell up, so it's very, very good card. And it's a Fiend as well, so you can remove it from play for the effect of your Gates, obviously. Next up is the last monster card in my lineup. I'm running 1 Morphing Jar. I do like Morphing Jar. Sometimes he's a little bit more detrimental, and he slows down your speed because you have to set him. A lot of times he's predictable too, and your opponent's going to try and destroy him. Which isn't a bad thing, though. It means they're going to be wasting their destruction effects in your face-down Morphing Jar, which is completely fine. But he's kind of another card destruction in the sense that, yeah, he's going to give your opponent more draws too, but a lot of times your opponents, most players are going to set one, or summon a monster, attack, and then set back rows in their main phase 2, which in that case means that you're going to be setting Morphing Jar, setting a bunch of cards, maybe playing your field spell. They're going to attack, whoosh, Morphing Jar flips up, and then you go and get a ton of extra draws. You have all that stuff in your field still, and he only has 1 monster. He has to discard his entire hand. Excuse me, you can usually get a +4 off sometimes with this guy, so he's very good. He gets all your Dark World's effects off as well. I do really like Morphing Jar. He's more of a budget build. This is a very budget Dark World build, but it's still extremely competitive. So that's all for the monsters. I believe it's 16, which I think is a good number. Next up, we got spells. 3 Gates. That's a staple. It's your main spell card in the deck. Then I run 3 Dark World dealings. I really like 3. You side them out, obviously, if you're playing Mirror Match, but it just adds a lot of speed to the deck and consistency. You want to have your discard outlets. Next up, you're on 3 drag downs. I'm sure Team Delta Force is going to watch this, and if you do watch this, I did mention that one you sent me was way more damaged. You said it was really damaged, but this is like way more damage than I expected. If you could maybe, I could send this back to you in the next trade we do, and you could send me another one, the ones you have in actual good condition. That would be awesome. But 3 drag down, this is one of the best cards in the deck, and in my opinion, I think this thing's better than Trap Dust Shoot. It's amazing. You combo this thing with Mind Crush, you combo this thing with Deck Devastation Virus. Such a good card. Just the fact that you can also get rid of all their big play cards like Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, all those nasty cards, and you just don't even have to worry about it. 1 card destruction, that's a staple in the deck. There's some people I've seen on some of the Pojo threads, lol Pojo, that have said card destruction is a bad card. Are you freaking kidding me? This thing is amazing. You discard your entire hand and you draw more cards. Plus, if you have Dark Worlds and you discard, what you're probably going to do, you're going to be getting a bunch of effects off. Also, it discards your opponent's hand, which is very good as well. A lot of times your opponent's going to be saving those good power cards in his hand. You play this thing, he just goes, fuck me, because basically you just completely screwed him over. Excuse the language, but it's true. Allure of Darkness, that's a staple in the deck. Really good combos well with Trance Archfiend. We got Foolish Burial. I used to not really like this card, but I decided recently it is too good not to run. If they remove the 1 Grapha and they're like, oh yeah, I got Grapha out of the way, and just go Foolish Burial, drop another Grapha, they go, oh, because they just wasted a bunch of cards to get rid of 1, and then all of a sudden you got another one. Just adds speed as well to the deck. Heavy Storm, it's a staple. I don't run MSTs in here. I don't think it's necessary. Deck's got so much speed, plus you can reuse Grapha over and over again. It's just, you just don't need it. 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Dark Hole. Those are all the staples, and that's all the spells. So moving on to the traps, this is one of my favorite cards in this deck, and one of my favorite cards in the game. I think there's a lot of decks this would work really well, and I've been tempted to test it in Samurais, actually. Is 3 Reckless Greed. This card is so freaking awesome. You don't need a draw phase in Dark Worlds, and if you draw 2 of these and you set them both, they Heavy Storm, you chain, they go frick, because you're going to open up your next hand, next turn with 4 cards in hand, which means they're going to have to OTK you that turn, or you're just going to be going off next turn. Awesome card. Have to run 3 in Dark Worlds, in my opinion. It is a staple. I think builds that don't run it are just so slow, and it just adds so much speed and consistency to the deck. Gets you into those cards you need faster, and just lets you go off from there. 2 Mind Crush, that's another staple in the deck I would go as far as say, especially if you're running drag downs. It just adds that extra control to the deck and lets you kind of pick cards off from your opponent's hand. Especially if he has multiple cards in his hand, you're going to drag down just 1 card that he has, and then when you go next turn, you're going to Mind Crush and discard the other 2 that he might have. So it's really, really good. Solemn Judgment, I don't run Warnings. I just don't think Warnings necessary in this deck. It is a control build, but it's just once again not necessary. I run 1 Road. I really like Starlight Road in here. It's a good card. As you guys know, I run it in pretty much everything in this format. It's just too good not to run. I hate saying that, but it's just true. There's just, 2 Torrential Tributes, Darkle, Heavy Storm, Black Rose, Celestia, Geyseris. There's just so much destruction of multiple cards. Icarus Attack. It's just such a great card. And it gets you a free Stardust Dragon, which protects you even more so afterwards, and gives them another huge monster they have to get over. It also protects your field spell, obviously, as well. 1 Deck Devastation Virus. Love this card. It's freaking awesome. There's really nothing more to say about it than that. It just basically picks off the hand, controls the duel. You can get huge pluses off this. And this combo with Mind Crush and Drag Down into the Grave is an amazing card. You have to run it, in my opinion. And then I run 1 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential. I'm probably going to drop the Mirror Force out for a second Torrential because I really like Torrential. I'm running more of a slow control build and then Explode. Torrential also combos really well with Trance Archfiend. And Mirror Force, this will be coming out for a skill drain when I get it. But other than that, guys, that is the deck. The extra deck's really not a big deal, like I said. It's pretty much just your standard crap. You're really not running any tuners in the deck, so Reborn's going to be your only synchro option. You are running, obviously, some XYZs, such as Utopia Ray, Roach, if you have it. I really don't think Roach is very good. And then a couple rank 5 XYZs. I only have 1 at the moment, but I'm looking for more. But anyways, guys, that's the deck. Really loving Dark Worlds. Great deck. I'm super excited to finally have all my decks finished. Got my Infernities all finished, of course. You guys have seen the deck profile. Make sure to check that out if this is your first time watching a video on my channel. Also have Samurais, and as you guys also know, I play Heroes. So those are all my decks, and of course that's my Dark World deck.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, I'm just gonna, before I go, give a big shout out to patfacetheblackwing. Kind of a funny guy, but he's super nice. He's got lots of good content, and he's also very good to trade with. He's very generous, and at the same time, he's also very fair, which is good. There's too many people out there trying to rip you off and scam you all the time, and I just think that's a bad way to play the game and to collect. You need to be generous, and if you're generous, karma will come back and you get paid for your generosity. I've had it happen to me several times. So anyways, guys, make sure to check out Patface, and other than that, thanks for watching. Peace.